Good morning, church. It's good to see everyone again today. We are studying in the book of Proverbs, and we are in chapter 26 today. And so I'm glad that you've been able to have the opportunity to go through this with me. It has been a wonderful time together. So today in this proverb, we're going to see a lot of the idea of what it is that a fool does. And it's really a condemnation of being foolish when you have all the wisdom here in the scriptures to look to and to have in your life. So let's go ahead and look at this. Proverbs chapter 26. Like snow in summer or rain in harvest, so honor is not fitting for a fool. Like a sparrow in its fleeting, like a swallow in its flying, a curse that is calloused does not alight. A whip for the horse, a bridle for the donkey, and a rod for the back of a fool. Answer not a fool according to his folly, lest you be like him yourself. Answer a fool according to his folly, lest he be wise in his own eyes. Whoever sends a message by the hand of a fool cuts off his own feet and drinks violence. Like a lame man's leg which hangs useless is a proverb in the mouth of fools. Like one who binds the stone of a sling is one who gives honor to a fool. Like a thorn that goes up into hand of a drunkard is a proverb in the mouth of a fool. Like an anchor who wounds everyone is the one who hires a passing fool or drunkard. Like a dog that returns to his vomit is a fool who repeats his folly. So here we see just a proverb after proverb, quote after quote, kind of telling us that we shouldn't follow the person that's foolish. We shouldn't entrust the person that is foolish. We shouldn't answer the person in their folly. And when we do, we kind of sink down to their level. And so what the Proverbs here of Solomon are is don't sink down to the level of a fool. Don't entrust yourself to a fool, lest you get into trouble because of that. And so we see here over and over, he's saying, don't answer them, don't give messages to them and expect those messages to arrive properly. Don't even try to give wisdom to them after a while, because it's like giving it into the hand of a drunkard. They're not going to remember that which you have given to them. And I like this one in verse 11, like a dog that returns to his vomit is a fool who repeats his folly. I don't know if you know much about dogs, but anytime there's a vomit, the dog tends to lick it up. I don't understand, but that's what he's saying. It's just like that. It's not right. So do you see a man who is wise in his own eyes? There is more hope for a fool than for him. So now we go from this is what the fools are, is if you are wise in your own eyes, then you are worse off than a fool. And so you're not always right. I'm not always right. We have things in this life that we think and we have opinions on, but we're not always right. And so we're not always right, and we shouldn't feel that way in our own eyes. We should always be humble enough to learn and to grow and to continue moving forward in our life. All right. The sluggard says there is a lion in the road, there is a lion in the streets. This is the second or third time we've seen this in Proverbs. And the idea here is the fear that the sluggard has of going out and doing something makes that individual more of a sluggard. We got to be careful that we don't get caught in that, especially in our time where fear can be justified. Fear can be looked at as something that is good for you to have right now during this time with COVID-19. We should be cautious. I'm not saying let's not be cautious, but I'm saying let's not live in fear. Let's be willing to go out and do the things that we can do if we are healthy to do that. But take precautions and be careful out there. All right. It says, As the door turns on its hinges, so does a sluggard on his bed. It's kind of funny. Doors don't turn on the hinges unless someone pushes or pulls on that door. Sluggard just kind of slowly rolls back and forth and is not pushed. The sluggard buries his hand in the dish. It wears him out to bring it back to his mouth. This is the second time we've seen this one as well. The idea that you are in this state means that you are not doing very well. The sluggard is wiser in his own eyes than 7 men who can answer sensibly. So the sluggard gives himself or herself the idea that I'm so smart, I'm so wise. That's why I don't do whatever it is other people do. Like a madman who throws firebrands, arrows, and death is the man who deceives his neighbor and then says, I am only joking. So that's interesting. If you are doing this, if you are trying to harm and then say I'm joking, that doesn't work. We all know the saying, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Well, sticks and stones can do physical damage, but words can hurt. And a lot of times people say, well, I was just joking. Well, that's too late. The hurt has already happened. For lack of wood, the fire goes out, and where there is no whisperer, quarreling ceases. So whenever there's no one whispering in the ear of someone, then quarreling can stop. And so sometimes we just need time to get away from the heat of the moment and not continue adding to that fire, like it says here, the lack of wood. All right, it says, as charcoal to hot embers and wood to fire, so is a quarrelsome man for kindling strife. And so what he's saying here is charcoal and wood cause good fires, but quarrelsome man continues to kindle strife among the brethren. The words of a whisperer are like delicious morsels. They go down into the inner parts of the body. And I think these whispers are the whispers of dissension and these type of things, making you think something wrong of your brother or sister. Like the glaze covering an earthen vessel are fervent lips with an evil heart. Again, the same thought. Whoever hates disguises himself with his lips and harbors deceit in his heart. When he speaks graciously, believe him not, for there are 7 abominations in his heart. Though his hatred be covered with deception, his wickedness will be exposed in the assembly. So here we see that often hate is disguised, and so we need to be careful that we don't have hate. First of all, we should have love for one another and for all people, all mankind. But here it says hate disguises himself with his lips and harbors deceit in his heart. And so the person may have this deceit, they may have this heart that is hateful, but they'll disguise it with graciousness and things like this. But yet the wickedness that they are trying to do will be exposed. And so hate is always seen by others, no matter how it's trying to be covered up. It says, whoever digs a pit will fall into it, and a stone will come back on him who starts it rolling. So I think this here is talking about the person that hates, but it's a good proverb standalone as well. Whoever digs a pit can fall into it. And the stone, if you've ever started rolling something and tried to stop it, it doesn't stop very well. And here I think they're talking about a large stone. Once it starts rolling, it can come back. Especially if you're rolling it out of a hole, you can think you have it, and then it'll come right back on you, and that can really hurt. And that's, I think, what he's talking about here. A lying tongue hates its victims, and a flattering mouth works ruin. Again, here, the whole idea of speaking in deceit, speaking with lies, it hates the victims. It hates the individuals that it's talking to. And often it does so in a manner of flattery. And we've seen this before. We've seen someone trying to flatter someone even though they don't like them. We've seen people who hate, and yet they don't show that to the person, but later they will say something to someone else like, I don't like that individual, or can you believe what that individual said? So we just got to be careful that we don't live in this thought of hate in our heart towards others, no matter who that individual is. All right. Well, you guys have a blessed day. Thank you for following on this Proverbs chapter 26. We are getting close to the end. All right. Be blessed.